Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're jumping into some source material from Frederica's pasted text, and we're tackling a question that, well, it sounds so mundane, but I think it's actually pretty philosophical.
Oh, definitely.
What do we actually learn about life when we're forced to eat yogurt with a fork?
Right. It's one of those tiny everyday problems.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this might sound trivial, but the source material really gets into what the author calls the plasticware conundrum.
I think we've all been there.
For sure. You know the moment. You get
What?
the yogurt cup, you go to the utensil drawer, and the
Oh.
only thing staring back at you are a fork and maybe one of those flimsy plastic butter knives.
Ugh, the worst.
So you pick the fork. And you do it knowing that, gravity and physics are absolutely about to work against you.
It's the perfect setup, really. The source captures this universal moment of, like, low-stakes frustration
Mm-hmm.
and uses it as a mirror for much bigger life challenges. So our mission today is to extract the wisdom from this sticky situation.
Yeah.
Why does trying to sweep something creamy with something that's designed for stabbing? Why does that become this powerful metaphor for, determination, resourcefulness, and just handling the messiness of life?
Okay, let's unpack this because the author gives us a critical piece of vocabulary right at the start. It's a concept that sort of frames the whole experience.
A new word.
A new word.
Yeah.
It's called knucklery.
I love that. And Farika even admits they just like making up words, you know?
Right.
But this one, it just perfectly captures a feeling that didn't have a name before. It comes from frustration, but it ends up categorizing this whole genre of life events.
And it's such a crucial nugget for you, the listener, because it gives you a word for that moment where nothing seems to be working the way it should.
Yeah.
The full definition, straight from the source, is
Yes.
what's simple, but I think it's really profound. It's knucklery, the noun.
Okay.
Anything that happens in life that makes no sense.
Like trying to eat yogurt with a fork, that's perfect.
Isn't it?
Just having a word for this is huge. Before it was just annoying or, inefficient. But calling it knucklery kind of gives it a category. It almost gives you permission to laugh at how absurd it is.
It's pure friction.
Yeah.
And the ultimate proof of the knucklery is the mess.
The inevitable mess.
The author gives this one illustrative quote that just nails it for me. The yogurt dripped through the fork down my shirt. That's just pure knucklery.
We've all had that moment.
I think we all need this word. I mean, it applies so far beyond the kitchen drawer. Knucklery is that moment when you're trying to submit a required form online, but the system keeps timing out.
Oh, absolutely. And you have to start over again and again.
It makes no sense, but you have to keep trying.
That's exactly. If you connect this to the bigger picture, to your experience, knucklery is really about accepting that systems, whether they're, corporate, bureaucratic, or just the physics of a plastic fork, they're all messy.
Yeah.
It's the inefficiency that's just built into life. So the challenge is seeing the knucklery for what it is and then deciding how to respond. Do you quit? Or do you just accept the drip and keep going?
And that choice to accept the drip and keep going, that's the core philosophical lesson here. It leads us straight into the second layer of meaning the author found.
Right, in the middle of the struggle.
In the middle of it all. It's the acronym FOK.
And this is where the source stops just, naming the problem and starts offering a solution. The physical tool itself becomes a guide. It was a genuine light bulb moment for the author.
Let's break it down. Because the components of FORK, as they're laid out in the source, are they're just a powerful summary of how to deal with this trivial chaos.
Yeah.
F is for faith.
Mm-hmm.
O is for over. R is for random.
Okay.
K is for knucklery.
What's so fascinating to me is the order of it all. The author isn't saying life should be perfect.
Yeah.
They're acknowledging what we just established, that life is defined by random knucklery.
It's arbitrary. It's messy.
It's totally nonsensical at times.
But the instruction is to put faith over that chaos.
Yeah.
It's like this internal command to just inject belief into a situation that, well, logically, it should just lead to failure, or at least a huge mess.
Precisely. The philosophical takeaway here is that determination is really an act of faith. You know the fork is the wrong tool, but you still believe you're going to get enough to eat.
Right.
The ultimate mandate becomes, fork it, don't quit.
Oh, fork it.
It elevates a simple moment of impatience into a life motto.
That gives you incredible permission, doesn't it? It's basically saying, don't wait for the perfect tool. Don't wait for the perfect plan to go after your goals.
Yeah, it's this gritty acceptance that being ill-equipped doesn't mean you just stop.
Mm-hmm.
It shifts the focus from, waiting for the right thing to show up, to your own internal fortitude, the author struggled to scrape every last bit of yogurt from that container. It just highlights that grit.
It really does.
The source basically forces you to ask yourself, what are you determined enough to get messy for? What are you willing to fight for, even when the tools are all wrong?
And that determination, it brings up the next obvious question. Where was the spoon?
Right. Why wasn't the right tool there in the first place?
And the source material has a brilliant take on this.
It does. It moves us into this final, crucial stage, which the author calls the point of the spoon, a redirect.
A redirect. I like that.
It's a huge conceptual pivot. Instead of seeing the missing spoon as like a failure of organization or something to complain about.
Which is what most of us would do.
Totally. Instead, they see it as an intentional lesson.
That is so powerful because in real life, we spend so much time complaining about the missing spoon, the lack of budget, the lack of time, the lack of support.
We focus on what's missing, not what's possible.
Yeah.
But the source just flips the script. It argues that maybe the spoon wasn't there by mistake. Maybe it was, and I'm quoting here, a retunning on just how resourceful we can really be when we are determined enough.
A retuning.
The limitation actually becomes the thing that sparks ingenuity.
That's a great way to frame it. A retuning. I mean, when you have the perfect tool, you don't think. You just scoop. But when you only have the fork, you have to start analyzing the geometry of it all. You turn it sideways. You maybe use the handle. You're forced to innovate. And that resourcefulness, that's the real reward.
It's all about adaptation. We all wait for the ideal scenario, the perfect spoon to arrive, the perfect job, perfect relationship, whatever.
Right.
But Frederica is saying that waiting is a waste of time. The fork, as messy as it is, forces you to maximize what you already have. You have to move from just passively waiting to actively creating a solution.
So the fork in this context becomes a symbol for, necessary improvisation.
Exactly. And that shift from waiting to pivoting, that redirect is what defines success when your resources are scarce.
Yeah.
And that's really the practical core of this whole text. It's this urgent call to embrace what you have right now. The final advice from the source is simple. The next time you can't find a spoon in life,
when the perfect solution is just missing,
the instruction is to go for it anyway.
dig in. Don't let the imperfect situation or the gaps in your tools stop you from getting that yogurt.
Exactly. The source ties this tiny struggle back to our biggest ambitions. It urges you to dig in, be diligent, working toward your dreams, and scrape whatever you can out of the yogurt container of life.
The container holds the dream. The fork forces the effort.
That's it. It's the combination of faith and diligence in the face of all that knucklery.
Wow. That is a phenomenal distillation of this text. I mean, we started with a sticky piece of plastic.
Yeah.
We've ended up with a profound philosophy for life's challenges. We went from understanding these nonsensical moments, the knucklery, to injecting faith into them with FORK, and then finally realizing that not having the right tool is just an opportunity for resourcefulness, for the redirect.
And so here's the question we want to leave you with. The source gives us this powerful permission slip with the motto, fork it. It gives us the freedom to be messy and imperfect. But the mandate is to actively dig in. So knowing that life is going to drip through the gaps, that the perfect spoon isn't always going to show up, how do you decide what needs to be scraped out of your life's container today? What's actually worth getting yogurt on your shirt for?
That is a truly challenging question. We hope this deep dive encourages you to start using the word knucklery immediately. And remember the author Frederica's specific sign-off from the source, Sneak Full Gifts 96996. We'll see you on the next deep dive.